we got to switch this up a little bit because we've been talking about what's your favorite Disney animated film. Are you planning to see the live action Little Mermaid? Please comment, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're planning to see the live action Little Mermaid. I am seeing it, and I am forcing my children to see it, even though my youngest son was like, I don't want to see it. It's a girly movie. No, we're going to see it. I'm so utterly excited. If you have not seen any of the trailers for The Little Mermaid, I wish I would have downloaded one so I could play the clip for you right now. Halle, even as soon as they cast it, The Little Mermaid, as soon as they said we're going to, before they even said Halle, I was aware of Chloe and Halle as a singing duo, and I was like, they ought to get Halle. If you look at Ariel, you think about what Ariel looks like as an animation, Halle legit just looks like a chocolate dipped version of Ariel. I'm sorry. She does. Her face, she looks like she is a Disney princess. I was talking to my friend and I was saying, there's just some people, like, it makes you believe in like time travel, because there's some people who just look so much like characters. Like for me, I firmly believe Stan Lee went into the future, saw Patrick Stewart, went back into the past and said, I'm going to make Professor Xavier and I'm going to model him after this dude named Patrick Stewart, because there could no one else could have been Professor X. I'm so sorry. Literally, he was the perfect person. I almost feel like it's the same thing with Halle. Like, I'm sorry. Like, her voice was crafted for this. Now, what's right now, the reviews are really good. I'm saying that for right now because I thoroughly think we should anticipate this being megally hate bombed in like Rotten Tomatoes and wherever you might find your film reviews, like common film reviews. I think it's going to get hate bombed. So I don't think we should anticipate it keeping the critical reviews that it has right now. I think we should anticipate that kind of going south, or at least like there being a big difference between the film critics and the audience score. I think it's going to be shifted because I think people are going to hate bomb. And I think we just have to be prepared for that. But having not seen it, but having heard enough to where I don't want to be completely spoiled. I knew that they were probably going to do some things new. I think this is going to be much closer to Cinderella, where we get the story, we get the sequences, all of those things that are key in the original are there. The runtime is about 35 minutes longer than the original because that's where they're adding stuff. And I think that's the recipe that, from just looking at everything we've just looked at, that is the recipe that Disney has to keep doing. People online are going to keep saying that they're getting Disney fatigue or that they have Marvel fatigue, superhero fatigue. But the reality is, people are still going out in droves to see a lot of these projects when they're good. Do some of them get unfairly dumped on? Yes. But I think Little Mermaid's I think it's going to be a box office smash. The press run right now is really strong. And I think I just think that they got the recipe right. Now, are there going to be some problems? Yes, I think some of the CGI concerns are valid. I think Awkwafina as Scuttle was a decision, was a choice that was made. Melissa McCarthy, from what I understand, people are like, she killed it as Ursula. I would have liked Queen Latifah, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to knock Melissa McCarthy because she's a great actress. And so far in the clips, she looks like she's strong. So I think that what we're going to see is hopefully what we got to just realize right now with this discussion is Disney is not going to stop making these live adaptations, and we just need to deal with it. We need to understand that Disney is a company that is in the business of also being the largest amusement park in the world, and they have established that their amusement parks are built up around their characters and their properties for their characters, and so they've got to keep ownership of those characters and keep those characters revitalized in the public eye so people continue to go to the parks. So they're going to keep making the remakes, and hopefully they just continue with this recipe of we're going to do it, and if we're going to change stuff, which I am okay with them changing certain aspects of the characters as long as it's logical and it makes sense. And if you're mad about Ariel being brown, let me just say this. When you saw The Little Mermaid and you heard Sam Wright doing the voice of Sebastian, a Caribbean big-lipped crab, and you didn't have a problem with it being voiced by a Black man or its features being drawn to resemble that of a Black man. And he is doing a Caribbean accent, even though he's not Caribbean, but he was doing a Caribbean accent, and you weren't bothered by that. Then them taking that environment and relocating their main star to making her Caribbean, because the first girl who walked in to audition for the singing of Ariel blew them away. You're gonna have to get over it. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen with every adaptation. They're not going to try to make everything super woke. Some of it will just be the same, but just new. But I just think we got to get used to this. I think Ariel is going to kill it. I think it's going to be so good. So now we got to get to the voice of the crab wasn't Black. He was Black, but people didn't get upset by that. People weren't mad that Sebastian was Black, right? But everyone else in the animation was white. There were no Black mermaids at all until the Little Mermaid animated series. Again, like Janice said, why do I know these things? That's when we get our first Black mermaid. So you had a Black sounding crab, a Black crab for all intents and purposes, and everyone else was white. So I just think it's just ingenuous when people get online and get mad about Ariel now being Black when they're just reversing the order a little bit, hey. And the crab was Caribbean. Now it's going to be set kind of in the Caribbean. And now in the Caribbean, there are people of all shades. So, hey, I think more power to them. I think I'm going to make my spouse and my kids all go with me to see The Little Mermaid. And I will definitely be bringing a review of it once I've seen it. I opted not to review it and see it early because I really want to have that experience with my whole family. So I didn't want to go see an early screener because I wanted that experience with my family. But I will review it for the channel, even if it doesn't get a lot of views because everyone has already seen the reviews. But it's okay. It's okay. It's my experience. So that wraps up our discussion of the Disney live action movies and The Little Mermaid. But let me know in the comments what your favorite of the Disney live action remakes are. Let me know in the comments, and maybe later on we'll get to do a watch party where we watch it together. We'll see. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Disney live action remake is, and of course, don't forget to talk about what your favorite Disney animated film is of all time. And I will see you guys later. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a supportive group, and I'll see you later. Toodles.